Oh, man, Norm died.
Norm died. It's the sad news on the internet yesterday. 61.
Yeah, pretty young.
I don't know what number I was expecting in my head. I was almost surprised both ways on the scale. Like, you could have told me he was older. You could have told me he was, like
in his
approaching
40s.
70, or you could have told me, like, low 50s.
I think I knew, but I watched his podcast and the show and stuff, so
Sure.
like I was pretty around.
Announces his birthday every show.
No, I mean, you have a general idea how old people are.
You listen to him all the time.
Yeah.
Watch a lot of Norm. Yeah, really sad. Cancer, man.
He's the first podcast I ever listened to.
Golly.
That was like appointment podcast for me when he was doing them. They're not even really, some of them are online or on, and then he did the video version, and then he did one with, and then it went to Netflix where he had like other guests, and it was different. But some of the early ones are so funny. I've just been watching those, and obviously all the other stuff that's like the funny stuff. But
Sure.
yeah, it's crazy. Crazy he had it for 9 years and never told anyone. And it kind of, you look back and you're like, yeah, because his weight was changing like crazy.
Yeah.
And sometimes he just looks like so tired. My favorite humor is Norm's humor. Did you see when he goes on The View? And have you seen that clip? It was going around Twitter a lot.
Not yesterday, but I probably seen it.
In 2000, he just went on The View and said, we got to get all the homicides out of the White House, like all these murderers. And they're like, who? They're like, well, Clinton murdered a guy. And they just have no idea what's going on. Like, they don't, and the audience is laughing. And they're like, you're supposed to be funny. And it's like, well, the audience is laughing.
Yeah.
The other hosts of The View
you.
just didn't realize they were the joke. Not his words. Them getting upset was the joke. And he was so good at that. And then he's just smiling while they're like mad at him. Like, you're supposed to be funny. And then he goes, I thought it was public record. Oh, it's so funny, man.
I have a, I got introduced to Norm a little before you because I grew up on SNL, and that's where Norm kind of began to take off, and it's kind of funny because it wasn't, I think for him it took a little bit because he's not like a real character guy. He's Norm. He's pretty much Norm Macdonald in anything he does. He did. And but he got pretty comfortable at the Weekend Update desk. And he started crushing there just because his delivery. It's kind of crazy. I mean, normally for a lot of comedians, it's when you don't know what's coming, it hits you, and you're almost surprised by it, and an act gets old. Norm's the opposite. You kind of need to see it once or twice and know what you're looking for, and then you're like, oh my God, this guy is out of control funny. Colin Cowherd, who runs a ridiculous Twitter account, but I like him because sometimes he really hits a point. He's just like, how many people mention Norm's death to me? Young, old, guys, women. Like, he just covered the board because he was himself. Like, it's kind of, the new age of media of people being themselves and people enjoying it. Norm was kind of one of the early ones on that.
Yeah. He just he was very happy for everyone else to be uncomfortable.
Yeah.
There's this bit he did. It's like a bad audio on YouTube where he's doing a live show, and he's talking about how, like everyone says, the real heroes, and then they say teachers, and he's like, well, it's not the real heroes, they have the same schedule as kids, and and he's going, and then this lady starts yelling because she's mad, and he just goes, "You're not one of those fucking teachers, are you?" So funny. Oh man, have you ever seen on the Norm Macdonald on the podcast or the Netflix when he had Spade on and he threw it to a fake commercial break and Spade thinks they're in break and then he comes back from break and Spade never knew that they weren't actually in commercial break. That's so funny. So RIP.
Do 'em all day,
sad.
yeah.
Norm's the best.